Ladies and gentlemen, I swear, this D Hop news is pretty spicy. It just sucks that it wasn't a trade because realistically, if it was a trade, boy, we'd have a lot of fantasy context. My mustache is all over the place, but nevertheless, we're fine. We're here. We're doing a best ball draft. We're already in the lobby. We're doing it live on Drafters Fantasy Sports right now. And if you don't know and you've been hiding under a rock or, you know, enjoying the springtime because nobody else is doing fantasy football at this time, what we're doing here is we're doing a paid best ball tournament. Pretty much, if you win these tournaments, you can either win $30,000 or $300,000 based on the one that you entered, based on the competition that you entered. There's a $3 mini, and then there's a $20 $2 million. So the one we're doing right now is a $3 mini. It's literally a $3 investment. And at the end of this draft and at the end of the season, I could potentially win $30,000. Not a bad deal. If you sign up today using code DiscoDrafts1 on Drafters Fantasy Sports, you can get up to $100 match with your initial deposit. And all transactions, sorry, I'm just looking at the board. All transactions are done in US dollars, US buckaroos. So it's like a couple bucks difference. It's nothing significant, but you also get your winnings in US dollars, and it's available in Ontario. There's no other best ball tournament, paid tournament available in Ontario. So this is the one you want to do. And if you're wondering what best ball is and all that good stuff, then you just wait because we're on the clock. Oh wow. I swear, the best community, such a beautiful partnership. Thank you, Drafters, for all of your support in this partnership. Honestly, I'm so grateful for everything. You guys are absolutely amazing. Al Paul, you in here, buddy? You. All right, so let's talk fantasy football and let's talk about the draft so far. Surprise, surprise, Justin Jefferson off the board at the 101. Then Jamar Chase goes, Cooper Kupp, CMC, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, Bijan Robinson, AJ Brown. You might start seeing Stephon Diggs fall in these drafts. We're drafting from the 111. Not bad. I haven't drafted in the back end of the drafts much, and I've done 22 $3 mini drafts. So it's pretty sweet that, I'm expanding my portfolio and drafting from different spots. Typically, you're going to see a run on wide receivers early and often. With that being said, this D-Hop news definitely affects Stephon Diggs' value. Devontae Adams off the board. See, that's how you know you're drafting with sharks. Everybody's expecting, D-Hop to end up there. I don't care. I'll take Stephon Diggs. I'll take him every time. I love him. Hola. ¿Cómo estás, Kobe and the Cattle Dogs? Great YouTube channel. Phenomenal, beautiful puppies there. The best puppies in the whole wide world. The best. The best good boys. Saquon Barkley, St. Brown go off the board. Let's see who we got coming up here right now. All right. CeeDee Lamb, Garrett Wilson, Jalen Hurts. Do I say screw it and reach for a stack? No, I don't. I'm not silly. We'll get some good wide receiver value here. These are two guys who I do not have much exposure to. Another cool thing about Drafters Fantasy Sports is you get to see who you have a lot of exposure to and who you didn't really draft quite often. So you get to really expand your portfolio and really broaden the horizon on who can win you lineups and see who you're drafting too much and who you're fading a lot. So that's another really cool tool that you can do on Drafters. They have a Pick'em. Pick'em's essentially like you just click like 5 or different stats that they come up with, or statistical categories that they come up with. And as you add more to it with whatever sport you want to do, I'm pretty sure they even do PGA. I know nothing about golf, but they got MLB, PGA, hockey, NBA. They're going to have NFL when the NFL season's live. And they'll just have stats that you can go and sign up and put $1, put $10, put $100 if you're feeling lucky, and you can even get up to 100 times or 100x your initial deposit. It's pretty cool. So after we take CeeDee Lamb, Jonathan Taylor goes off the board. Jalen Waddle, gone. Jalen Hurts goes to the A.J. Brown team. Everybody's trying to get cute with stacks. But the thing with stacks is everybody's trying to do stacks. So you're not going to be unique having an A.J. Brown, Jalen Hurts stack. We'll have a YouTube video later on, another one that we're working on. By the way, did you guys watch the running back video? You guys got the tricks to the trade? You guys got the hidden value that we got there? Anyways, the stacks that you're trying to get, you're not unique when you get these stacks because everybody else is trying to get a Patrick Mahomes and a Travis Kelce. Everybody's trying to get a Stephon Diggs and a Josh Allen. Everybody's trying to get an A.J. Brown and a Jalen Hurts, right? There's nothing unique. If you end up competing with hundreds and thousands of other competitors here on Drafters for the big money, that kind of stack won't separate you. But we will talk about later on what kind of stack will give you a better option moving forward. All right. Who do we leave off with? Garrett Wilson? Probably. So Garrett Wilson, second round. Chris Olave, Nick Chubb, Tony Pollard, Devontae Smith, Josh Jacobs. We got Higgins. It's weird that the Higgins guy ended up one-on-one looks like he's asleep. 55 drafts. I'd be asleep after 55 drafts. Holy cow. That guy's serious. Josh Gibbs around the bend. Very, very weird pick, but I just want to see what kind of values available that he would. So Josh Gibbs just went ahead of Ramondre Stevenson, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Derrick Henry, Breece Hall, Mark Andrews, Lamar Jackson, Deebo Samuel, Travis Etienne. That is weird. Oh, how you doing, Coach? Good to see you. If you guys don't know, the North Gloucester Giants is the team I grew up playing for here in Ottawa, Canada, and Coach Jay Algan is one of their tremendous coaches and volunteers there. So a big shout out to the North Gloucester Giants football team, and a very big shout out to Senor Jay Algan. Thank you for tuning in, buddy. I appreciate you coming here. Are you big on fantasy, boss? I appreciate your support. So after we talk about the Gibbs pick, Patrick Mahomes goes off the board. Derrick Henry gone. Josh Allen gone. It would have been nice to pick him up, but once again, we're not forcing stacks. We're forcing correlation. Correlation is what we're forcing. DK Metcalf gone. Ramondre Stevenson gone. Mark Andrews gone. We're coming up on the board. I don't want to say too much about who I want to pick because I know that a couple of you guys drafting here right now with me on Drafters is also in this live video, and I know you guys are sharks and you guys do things out of pettiness, and I love it because I'm the king of being petty. And you guys are going to try to steal my pick. So we're not going to say what we're looking for here, but we have a couple of pieces that we like. And if you guys follow me on social media, you'll know that Keenan Allen's not one of them. So go ahead and pick Keenan Allen. All right, we're up. Who just left? Najee was taken. Travis Etienne gone. It's crazy to see the running backs going really early and having so much wide receiver value. So we'll just keep going with what we're doing and pick up Senor Deebo Samuel. You know, you're going to get some rushing points. You know, you're going to get some high volume with the receptions. Who's going to throw him the football? I don't know, but I did a lot of research on the rehabilitation and the procedures that both Trey Lance and Brock Purdy have gone under. And I'm comfortable with either one of them throwing him the rock, even if it's Sam Darnold. I'm okay with that too. But we'll get back to that. Calvin Ridley around the bend. Amari Cooper, we're up. I mean, typically I wouldn't reach on DeAndre Hopkins, but I got a thing where if I'm doing a thumbnail, I got to get that thumbnail correlation. It's a thing. It wins fantasy leagues for all of us streamers here. So after Hopkins is gone, we got Michael Pittman. But yeah, so let's talk about those San Francisco 49ers quarterbacks. Brock Purdy finished the season with a pretty horrible elbow injury. March 8th or 9th, I believe, he underwent a very common procedure in baseball called a Tommy John surgery. And all signs are pointing that he may be ready to throw when camp starts, which is like late July, early August. And then Justin Fields, or not Justin Fields. I always mix up Justin Fields and Trey Lance. Is that bad? Trey Lance had his fibula. Anyways, he had a fracture in his shin, shin. And he had that surgically repaired. And then in late December, I want to say early January, they had to take out like the screws and the plates that they placed there to reconstruct his leg. Anyways, he's also on track to start throwing and start competing and be ready week 1. So if you're talking about simply where they drafted either one of those guys, I'm assuming Trey Lance is going to start, and Trey Lance is falling really far in these drafts, and we're going to try to take advantage of it, because if Trey Lance does start week 1, which he should, then we're going to have a really, really good quarterback in the 15th round, which is pretty amazing. All right, we got more people in the chat talking. Senor Coach Jay, yes, sir. I'm a huge fantasy football guy. All right, talk to me about fantasy football, buddy. How do you think we're doing so far in our draft? We went super wide receiver heavy, so we got to find some running back value. And if you watched our running back video that we posted yesterday, you'll know that we're sitting really pretty because we know something that they don't. And you guys, because you're tuning in here, you guys also know something that they don't. So you're smarter than your friends, just like I'm smarter than my friends. All right, let's catch up with the draft. So after we take D-Hop, Michael Pittman goes, Jerry Jeudy goes, Christian Watson, Lamar Jackson, Christian Kirk, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Terry McLaurin, Drake London, Justin Fields, TJ Hawkinson, Joe Mixon. He's one of those running backs we talked about yesterday. He's gone. We're just waiting. This is one of the slower, fast drafts I've been a part of. But yeah, if you're in the chat, talk to us, say something. It looks good so far from what I'm seeing. Well, Coach Jay, are you familiar with the best ball concept of in terms of fantasy football? I know there's like standard and half PPR and PPR, but have you ever heard of best ball? DJ Moore, gone. Chris Godwin, gone. All right. So best ball is essentially the most convenient and incredible way to draft. You simply just draft it and forget it unless you end up winning money at the end of the year. And it's not like only first place gets a payout. Second place gets like 15,000 or 150,000, depending on which draft you choose to enter and which league you choose to choose. Sorry, I'm just reading the chat. You'll go with Kenneth Walker. Well, if we do go with Kenneth Walker, we're going to want that correlation with Zach Charbonnet later. We're going to get, a low floor, but our ceiling is limited. But needless to say, it's a safe bet. But if you're not in it to win it, you're not making those high risk, high ceiling picks, you're just going to have a mediocre team. And if you want to win a best ball tournament like this one here on Drafters, you got to go big. So the way best ball works is you get 20. We're up. I swear one of these days I'm going to get this best ball description down. I'm going to be able to explain it perfectly. But right now it's not happening. All right. Still not much in terms of running back value right now. So we're going to take a quarterback we're really high on, which is Trevor Lawrence. He's going to be in the MVP conversation this year. Mark my words. Really, really high on Trevor Lawrence this year. No correlation so far in terms of any of our picks. It is a shocker that we've gotten this far and not have taken a single running back. But once again, there's a lot of running back very deep in this draft. So after we make our next pick, which is right now, Miles Sanders gone, Kyle Pitts gone. Dummy. Who takes Miles Sanders? He just signed for 4 years, $25 million. He's not going to want to play football. All right, DeAndre Swift, really high on him. He's in a contract year. He's got to prove it. The running back position itself doesn't really last long, so everybody's trying to secure the bag. Everybody's trying to get paid. So DeAndre Swift, he's been underperforming, and we're going to take advantage of him underperforming years previous by drafting him now, because we know that he's got to go get that bag. And the only way you can go get the bag as a running back in the league now, in this day and age, is to have a stellar season, which is what we're taking advantage of. So yeah, let's talk best ball. Best ball, you get 20 rounds here on Drafters, where you have to fill several roster slots. Obviously, you're going to have a quarterback, 3 wide receivers, 2 running backs, 1 tight end, 1 flex. It's PPR. So if you're not familiar with the terminology, PPR is points per reception. Okay, so that's why you see wide receivers going heavy, and that's why we're going heavy on our wide receivers in general. So what best ball does is it doesn't give you the stress of having to say, oh, I don't know who to start today. I don't know who to start tomorrow. I don't want to keep doing drafts and join different leagues, because like the worst part of fantasy football is having to sit down and do last minute lineup adjustments and all that good stuff. So if you're having to do last minute adjustments and all that good stuff, it's very time consuming. And the best part of fantasy football in general is just drafting. So what best ball does, and what happens in best ball, is it takes the overall performance, the best overall performance at each position slot that you have in your roster, and it applies it to your weekly matchup. So say you got Justin Fields, you got Trey Lance, and you got Desmond Ridder. Say Justin Fields has a terrible game. Who's the second guy we said? Anyway, say Desmond Ridder plays better than all 3 quarterbacks I just mentioned. Desmond Ridder's fantasy points would apply to your weekly matchup. That's how best ball works. You're drafting for depth, and you're drafting for correlation. How does best ball work? I just told you. Was that explanation not good enough? I feel like I did a great job explaining that. Yo, okay. This man is the most legendary and frustrating troll in fantasy football ever. The way he won our fantasy football league is like, you can't make this stuff up. It's like watching draft day, but like, all right, I'll just explain it. Johan, the world's nicest guy, but also a troll when it comes to fantasy football, by the way. So I'm not going to speak poorly of this man. I love him in pieces. Thank you for tuning in, Johan. Your support is greatly appreciated. He came into the draft. It was 2 years ago. He won the league, by the way, and he drafted 4 quarterbacks, 4 high-end quarterbacks. He got like a Patrick Mahomes. He got Justin Herbert, a couple other really, really phenomenal quarterbacks. And everybody was scrambling to find quarterback value, because there wasn't really much quarterback value, because Johan literally took all of them. What he ended up doing was he ended up sabotaging the league with taking 4 quarterbacks in our redraft league, forcing us to give him extra value to trade for one of those quarterbacks, where he just stashed the roster slot. And the thing is, he didn't plan it. He didn't plan it. He didn't say, I'm going to go 0 RB, or I'm going to go with a hyper fragile build or anything. He just said, I'm going to take these guys. I'm going to screw up everybody's plan for quarterbacks later on, and I'm going to win the league. So we all traded away some really good value for a quarterback, and he ended up having a stacked team and winning outright. He broke fantasy football. It's a strategy I've only seen done once, and I don't think I'll ever see it again, because he hasn't done it since. This was 3 years ago. He hasn't done it since, but still, it's the most incredibly weird strat I've ever seen in my entire life. I wouldn't recommend it, but it worked for him. All right, we're coming back. Did I tell the story right there, Johan? Was it a good story? You're such a troll. I love it. All right. So after we take Swift, Lockett goes, Pierce goes, Ayuk goes, Deontay Johnson goes, David Montgomery goes. We're going to really work on enunciation for this name, because it gets me every time. Jackson, Smith, and Jigba. We got it. Kadarius Toney, Dallas Goedert, AJ. I swear, I have the worst fingers when it comes to this stuff. Marquise Brown. Okay, so we see him jumping up in drafts now. That's interesting. Justin Herbert, George Pickens, Treylon Burks, Cam Akers, Gabe Davis, who I think we're going to start fading, especially if Hopkins ends up in Buffalo. Alexander Madison, great value. Jordan Addison, Jahan Dotson, Brandon Cooks, Isaiah Pacheco. We're all caught up. We're next. Let's take a look at value. Dalvin Cook. Okay, yeah, he's probably not going to play for the Minnesota Vikings this year, but who cares? Wherever he goes, he's a number one running back. He's not going to go in a stacked running back room or stacked running back draft. Like he is going to start wherever he goes. He's going to be a number one back wherever he goes, and he's going to play for a bag. So Dalvin Cook in the what round did we just draft? In the 7th round, absolute steal. He was going in the first round and first round only last year. So pat ourselves on the back. Great steal. Our draft is going to plan. It was a good explanation. I'm glad. So after we take Dalvin Cook, Deshaun Watson goes off the board around the bend. Let's keep looking at here. We could use a tight end. If you guys know me, no, I can't stand Cortland Sutton. Rachaad White, I like him as a player. I just don't like the uncertainty in. All right. Since we got Trevor Lawrence, we got to get some sort of late stackage. It's not an original pick. It's a safe pick. Do I love it? No. But if Evan Ingram has a great day and Trevor Lawrence has a great day, we're doubly happy because we got to double up on points there. See, there's nine people in here. Talk to me. Everybody's just tuning in and staying quiet. How's everybody's day going? Everybody having a wonderful time? Where's everybody from? So after we take Ingram, Elijah Moore goes off the board. We are getting really great players, and everybody else is just getting wide receiver 2s and just weird value. Quentin Johnston gone, a wide receiver 2 or 3 until Keenan Allen comes down with an inevitable injury, and then Mike Williams is out for 4 to 6 weeks. It happens every time. So we're not going to touch any of those top 3 wide receivers there. We're going to simply pick up Joshua Palmer because even though he's a wide receiver 4, there's going to be a lot of weeks where he's a wide receiver 2, even a wide receiver 1. So after Quentin Johnson, we got Zay Flowers. I'm very high on him. He's wide receiver 1 for me right now in that Baltimore Ravens receiving core. Rashad Bateman, I mean, I want him to do well. I love his profile and everything that he can bring to the table, but the Liz Frank foot injury is one of those foot injuries that is really difficult for a run after the catch kind of receiver. James Cook, it's a good pick, solid pick. Juju Smith-Schuster off the board, not a good solid pick and not a good solid acquisition for my Patriots. Do you guys see my shirt? Hold on. Yeah. Go Pats. Yeah. All right. After Juju goes, we got Javonte Williams gone. I'm really high on Javonte Williams. But if you're coming off a torn ACL relatively late to mid-season, you're not going to be ready. You're not going to be right. We just saw it with J.K. Dobbins. We saw it with Saquon Barkley 2 years ago. You see it all the time where these guys rush back just simply because they got to suit up because they're getting paid, but they're not ready. They're not right. The only outlier who's ever really busted that whole theory of, it takes 2 years for a player to recover from a torn ACL or a running back to recover from a torn ACL is Adrian Peterson. And Adrian Peterson is no longer in the league, but he just unretired, so he might be in the league. Cortland Sutton goes. Samaje Perine gone after that. Love Samaje Perine and his value this year. Historically, Sean Payton loves those receiving backs, and he signed a pretty good and significant contract in Denver for running backs in general because running backs don't really get paid all that much anymore. I got to catch up on the chat. And we got crying emojis. What was it? The Johan story that got you crying? It had me in tears too. AJ Dillon, phenomenal pick in the 9th round. David Njoku gone. Mike Thomas, don't want him. He's burnt me. Damian Harris gone. Great handcuff. Does he go to the gym? No. See, that's why I like this drafters community, because everybody's supportive and wonderful, but everybody's also really petty. So he just got sniped. Yep. Firemouth gone. Everybody's saying, "Oh, like get Dalton Kincaid. He's kind of like Firemouth." Why would you get Dalton Kincaid? Because he's kind of like Firemouth when Firemouth is available in the same rounds in ADP. Jamal Williams. No, that's Jameson Williams. Okay, Mean Machine. And Richardson's gone. This is the latest I've seen Richardson drop. Then A-Chain. How does Richardson and then A-Chain? I don't get what's going on with ADP. ADP is absolutely broken today. What's going on? What's happening? All right, Dak Prescott gone. All right, we're coming up. Who should I take here? Talk to me. Who should I take? All right, we're not drafting a quarterback or a tight end in week 9. All right, Jacoby Myers goes. So let's see what kind of value we have available to us here. We are kind of hurting at the running back position, but having a Tua Tagovailoa with those incredible receiving threats is a pretty safe and fantastic pick. He might be the best receiver. Oh, wow. I just got sniped. I really wanted Brian Robinson. Okay. We adjust. We digress. We adjust and we digress. I don't want to go back-to-back quarterbacks right now. Yeah. All right. That pick was basically based off of ceiling, big play potential, and the camaraderie that he has with Aaron Rodgers up in New York of the Jets. I'm drafting everybody in my division that I absolutely hate. But I mean, you can't be a homer when you do fantasy drafts. Geno Smith, Gonzo, Odell Beckham Jr. gone. I want Odell to do well. I really do want Odell to do well. Do you guys think Hopkins will end up in Baltimore? I'm hearing more and more. There's a lot of rumors that Hopkins is going to end up in Baltimore. When Hopkins was on that more than an athlete podcast with forgot what their names are, but he said that the top 5 quarterbacks he wants to play with is 1, Josh Allen, 2, Pat Mahomes, 3, Justin Herbert, but their receiving core is stacked, even though they're very injury ridden. 4, Jalen Hurts. 5, who am I missing? I said Pat Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen, Justin Herbert. Who the hell was the 5th guy that he said? Anyway, Lamar Jackson. Yeah, he said he wanted to go play with Lamar Jackson. So I think that would be an interesting place for him to go. One of my buddies earlier was telling me there's no way he's going to Buffalo. He's 100% going to Baltimore. So I had to do some more research and found out that there's actually validity to his theory, which is cool. So yeah, those are the 5 landing spots. I'm a big believer that he's probably going to end up in Buffalo simply because Von Miller has a lot of pull in terms of recruiting players. And what they're doing up in Buffalo is they're building a super team and they want to win a Super Bowl and they want to win it now. Oh, my man, Adrian Fidesz. How you doing, Knifey? You recovered from the food coma? All right, so after Odell's gone, Zay Jones gone, Zach Charbonnet gone, Goff gone, Tyler Boyd gone, Elijah Mitchell gone, Antonio Gibson gone, Rashad Penny gone. So you're seeing a run on handcuffs. So hopefully we can find some good RB value. We do have the secret sauce. You think CMC is going to be effective this season? I mean, that's the thing with CMC, right? All players are, potential injury prone guys, but I saw some of his off-season workouts this year, and he's got some of the coolest stuff in terms of off-season workouts. Stuff I would never try because it's all like plyometrics and box jumps and dead jumps and and floor jump. It makes no sense. This guy defies gravity. He's doing like full track star stuff. His work ethic is unlike anybody out there. His talent set is incredible. You're getting a number one running back and potentially number one receiver all in one. CMC is if he's healthy, he's got RB 1, 2, 3, wide receiver 1, 2, 3 potential. So CMC is always a safe pick as long as Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson aren't on the board. And even then, Cooper Kupp might be somebody who you would have to reach ahead to get here. So after Kamara, Mooney, Sky Moore, terrible pick. Rasheed Rice, better pick. Dalton Kincaid, Khalil Herbert, that's an RB1 potentially. Kirk Cousins falling. Jonathan Mingo. Kirk Cousins is another guy on a contract year. All right, we got more chats in here. How do you feel about Hopkins getting released? I mean, like, I can see how it benefits both sides. And at first, I'm like, you're just going to release him for free. Like, you're not going to, get a 5th, 6th, 7th round. I mean, freaking just look at last year. Isaiah Pacheco, 7th round pick. You couldn't get a 7th round pick for DeAndre Hopkins. And then Brock Purdy, another 7th round pick. You couldn't get even a set. But with that being said, they cleared up all of their dead cap space. All right. Kendra Miller, great value. And hopefully we can get Jamal Williams around the bend here. I think this NJ Gordo guy might be in here because last time I said something, he sniped it. Rondell Moore gone. Rondell Moore's value now goes up. Then he takes Okonkwo. So I really like this. I have a feeling Kamara's not going to play this year. That's why they went and invested in a guy like Kendra Miller. And if you don't know who Kendra Miller is, put the tape on. It's phenomenal. Then they also signed Jamal Williams, another really good player. So we got really great late round RB value and correlation in back-to-back picks. I'm very happy with that. So yeah, I feel like clearing $22 million in dead cap space and like really showing that you are 100% committed to a rebuild is great. I worry for Kyler Murray. I don't think he's going to be back soon. So if you do pick up any Arizona Cardinals like receivers or targets and you're looking for a stack, I think Clayton Tune might be the guy. And I know my guy, Adrian Fidesz, aka Knifey, I know he is a fan of Clayton Tune and he doesn't even know he's a fan of Clayton Tune because Clayton Tune was the quarterback in Houston, at the University of Houston, feeding Tank Dell, who is one of Adrian's favorite wide receiver prospects. All right, speaking of Adrian, only thing that worries me about the dude is the turf in San Fran, but he was fine last year and fingers crossed. Are you like a grounds manager? It's like one of your favorite arguments. It's always going to like the turf. The turf ain't right. The turf ain't okay. I mean, turf aside, it's a professional field. Like, I CMC is going to be fine. The turf is not going to get him. The turf monster is not going to get him. I hope I don't end up making a TikTok, like later on this year where I'm quoting myself saying the turf monster is not going to get him, and then we're going to have a highlight of the turf monster getting him. I pray that doesn't happen. Let's put it in the world. Positive vibes. Go CMC. So after we take Jamal Williams and Kendra Miller, Aaron Rodgers goes, Nico Collins, Jalen Warren, Tyler Algier, Kendra Osborne, Jeff Wilson, Michael Gallup. Bunch of second, third options. And I think that's what's going to separate, the winners from the losers in these best ball drafts is after round 9, 10, all the way down to round 20. You want to find guys with the highest value, and where you find guys with the highest value in these late rounds is simply just opportunity, shots on net. You want to get the guys with the most shots on net. So after Gallup, Higbee's gone. He's a starting tight end. Roshan Johnson gone. Guy I absolutely love. Wish we got him. We had him queued up in our head. We wanted to pick him next round, but it is what it is. That guy, great pick. Romeo Dobbs, Donovan Peoples-Jones, Irv Smith, no thanks. Got burnt a lot. I don't care if you're in Cincinnati. You burnt me way too much. So let's look at the board. I think we're good on quarterback. We don't need to draft another quarterback. Typically, you go 3 quarterbacks, 3 tight ends, but we don't need another quarterback. We definitely need running backs. We're probably going to need 2 more tight ends. And I'm just looking at bye week correlation right now, just to make sure I don't shoot myself in the foot here. Cole Kmet, he's a very appealing pick. Kyler Murray is available, but we're not interested. We're not going to take Kyler Murray in a single draft. I heard he's going to the Chiefs. I think this is in regards of DeAndre Hopkins. We would welcome him to the kingdom with open arms. That would be a very interesting situation. That would be a very interesting situation and a very good fit. My only problem with Hopkins right now is he's another guy who's on the wrong side of 30 and he doesn't have steroids to help him anymore. He ain't going to Buffalo. All right. I mean, everybody's entitled to their opinion. But my saying is an opinion's like an asshole. Everybody has one and they all stink. Yeah. Feels good to throw these back and forths with you fellas. All right, let's look at the board, see what we got here. All right, I'm not a believer. I know that the wide receiver room in New York is cursed. They're all going to get hurt and underperform, but I don't care. My buddy Knifey is really high on him, and he's in here. And I want to get him in another one of these. Oh, we should have taken Reed. We got way too much Reed. I think this is my first share of Hyatt, so I'll take it. Whatever. So yeah, big play potential, big play threat. Could be the wide receiver 1. You have no idea who the wide receiver 1 is. Let's take Devin Singletary. He's another running back who signed a 1-year contract and needs to prove himself. He's never performed up to par or up to expectation. And when a running back is, like we said in our YouTube video that you can literally go watch after this live stream, if a running back is underperforming and he's in a contract year, that's the year you want to draft him and get him late. We saw that with Josh Jacobs last year. We saw that with Jamal Williams last year. We saw that with God, there were so many people on that list that we saw it with Tony Pollard last year. You saw it with a lot of guys. The year before, we saw it with James Conner. We saw it with Leonard Fournette, and then they disappear. Once they get the bag, they disappear. That's why we're fading guys like Miles Sanders. We don't want those dudes who sign the bag. We want the ones who have to earn the bag. And once they earn the bag, then whatever. We're done with them. But so far, we're really liking our team. Let's do a team review. At the quarterback position, we got Trevor Lawrence and Tua Tagovailoa. We got DeAndre Swift at the running back position, Dalvin Cook, Kendre Miller, Jamal Williams, Devin Singletary. We got 5 solid running backs. We got room for 1 more. Then we got Stephon Diggs, CeeDee Lamb, Deebo Samuel, DeAndre Hopkins, Allen Lazard, Jalen Hyatt, and 1 tight end so far with Evan Ingram. So we really got to start focusing on tight end. But there's just too much juicy value at wide receiver. We have a great draft going right now. How do you guys feel about the draft? How would you grade my draft? So after we take Singletary, Van Jefferson goes off the board. Derek Carr gone. Mims gone. Mostert gone. Gainwell. See, that Miami Dolphins backfield's one that's super confusing to me. And I think it'll start getting really clear once Dalvin Cook is officially gone before the June 3rd deadline. So the Minnesota Vikings can save that cap space. And I think that might be a really good landing spot for Dalvin Cook. That might be the number 1 landing spot for Dalvin Cook. Kenneth Gainwell after that. Kyler Murray, somebody invested. Good for you. God bless you. Tank Bigsby, somebody who I'm starting to get really, really high on. I really do like his upside. I always thought he was like a power bruising back. And yes, that's kind of the mold that he fits, but he's pretty small. Then Jordan Love, who I have high expectations for, especially with the receiving core. Gerald Everett, Devontae Foreman, that's a great value in the 15th round. Marquez, Valdez, Scantling, Isaiah Hodgins, and we're all caught up. This is fun. Have you guys signed up for Drafters? Sign up today using code DISCODRAFTS1. You get your first deposit matched up to $100. There's no other promo code out there that does that. Everybody else is like 50% of what we do. And we're the only ones out there who do that. And if there's anybody who says that they do it, they're lying to. We're the only ones. Any rookies to look out for if that topic wasn't covered? Oh boy. Oh boy. Johan, this year I did more rookie research than I've ever done in all of my years combined of being a football fan. And there's so much juicy rookie value. We can start with the obvious guys, Bijan Robinson, but he goes way too high in terms of ADP in any sort of draft. He's going in the first round. He's going as an RB2, and that's after CMC. So he's going ahead of guys like Austin Eckler, Saquon Barkley, Jonathan Taylor. It's wild. It's absolutely incredible. So I love Bijan. I love the situation he's in. I'm just not going to pay the price of a first round value for somebody who's unproven. Then he's also in Atlanta if you've been living under a rock. And then Joshua Gibbs, running back from Alabama, just signed to Detroit, and he's a guy who I would take in one of these best ball drafts, but not in a redraft format. And the only reason why I would take him in a best ball draft is simply because you could later on get David Montgomery and have that really safe floor as opposed to a very high ceiling. But having a safe floor at the running back position is very good because, having a running back 1A, 1B room is better than having 6 handcuffs. That's just my opinion, neither here nor there. So he went in this draft in the 3rd round, but he usually goes like late 3rd, 4th, 5th. So I haven't seen him go in the 5th in a really long time. So I'm lying. So 3rd, late 3rd, early 4th. That's where you see him go. And I'll get back to you with more rookies, but I promise you there's so many. I could talk about this till I'm blue in the face. And we don't want that because we got plenty of content to create. All right. Chuba Hubbard. Since we're on the topic of, Miles Sanders signed the bag, and since he signed the bag, he's not going to perform anymore because he hates football. Chuba Hubbard is a phenomenal value in these late rounds, and he's probably one of the best handcuffs in football because that O-line is pretty good. Oh, we got an opinion here. I think Bijan Robinson will be a top 5 for rushing. Yeah, I mean, I don't see why not. That team runs the ball more than anybody else. So it's not a bad take. All right. We need a tight end. Michael Mayer, rookie tight end. Great value, great pickup. He fits the mold of a Rob Gronkowski and under Josh McDaniels. And his offense, I see Jimmy G, also who's a pro with Senor Josh McDaniels and has been with Josh McDaniels forever, knows the system. They're going to feed that rookie down the field on the post a lot. So I like that pick. He's not going to be phenomenal every week, but he's going to have his spike weeks and his spike performances, which is really good and beneficial for Bestball. Back to rookies we really like this year. So after we mentioned Jahmyr Gibbs, you're not going to find another running back or a rookie running back until you get a little bit later on in the draft, like around round 9, 10, 11 in these best ball drafts. So then we got to start talking about wide receivers. So the first wide receiver that comes to mind that everybody's high on, but me not so much, and I'm going to say the name right, is Jackson Smith-Njigba. His highlight tape's phenomenal. He was a great player. The number 1 wide receiver I had ranked in this draft. The only reason why I'm fading him is there's 3 wide receivers in San Francisco now, all wide receiver ones, and it's a run-heavy offense. It doesn't make sense. So I'm avoiding Jackson Smith-Njigba. I'm also avoiding Tyler Lockett. The only receiver who I'd get any exposure to and who I currently have any exposure to in that whole Seattle Seahawks concoction mess is DK Metcalf, simply because he can have really, really big weeks where he scores 3, 4, 5, 6, 17 touchdowns. I wish. But yeah, he has that ceiling, and we're just drafting him based off of ceiling. How many players can you take in this fantasy? So were you here for my whole spiel about drafters and the best ball tournament? If not, I'll do it again because It's a really, really great really great app, and I can talk about it until I'm blue in the face. So right now we're drafting on Drafters Fantasy Sports. This is the only paid best ball tournament available in Ontario. All the other ones said we're not paying the taxation. These guys are Canadian based. Absolutely amazing. We love Drafters. It's great. So you essentially make your deposit up to $100 using code Disco Drafts One, and you can sign up for these different draft tournaments / draft lobbies. And when you sign up for these draft lobbies and draft tournaments, if your team does really well, you could be eligible to win either $30,000 if you're in the $3 mini like we are now, or $300,000 for a $20 investment into one of the other drafts, which is the 2 million best ball draft on Drafters. So you get 20 rounds. You have one starting quarterback, 3 starting wide receivers, 2 starting running backs, 1 starting tight end, 1 flex. It's best ball format, 20 rounds. And the way best ball format works, I think I explained it to you and you said that, but yeah, you have 20 rounds. So you need to know not just, the first 5 rounds, because that's where everybody screws up, right? They're solid for the first 5 rounds, but that's not where you win fantasy football leagues. Like if you look right now, Ezekiel Elliott, who's surely going to get picked up, falls to the 17th round. Pretty crazy value, right? All right, Leonard Fournette still available, great value, but I think we're good on running back for now. We need tight end. We're good at tight end now. We got Jelani Woods, another guy who I'm really high on. The fact that he's got top 10 tight end upside, and you're picking him up in the end of the 17th round is pretty phenomenal. I'll take him every time. So yeah, the tight end position is not one of those positions that I stress myself about, especially in best ball format. Let's look at what else we have available here. Just looking at bye weeks right now. All right. Desmond Ridder. I'm very high on Desmond Ridder and this entire Atlanta Falcons offense. Honestly, the offense last year was created and tailor-made for Marcus Mariota, so they were going to run a lot. And when Ridder had to step in, it was not a offense tailor-made to him. Arthur Smith is a very good football coach, and he's going to use the run to set up the pass. And Ridder has a huge arm, and plus he has that rushing upside. So getting him in the 18th round, right around the bend, is really, really big. Hi, Xavier Taylor. Welcome to the chat, buddy. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for tuning in. We go broke before giving up on Kyle Pitts stream. See, that's mine, right? Like, a lot of people don't realize he's younger than 70% of the rookies who just came out this year. He's been in the league for 2 years. He had historically the best tight end season ever for a rookie. And everybody's fading him, saying he's underperforming. But like, how can you fade him for underperforming when Marcus Mariota historically is the worst quarterback for any sort of receivers out there, right? If Marcus Mariota is your quarterback, you got to invest in the running backs there. It just makes sense. It just makes sense. So yeah, I'm very high on Kyle Pitts. Love Kyle Pitts. Jonnu Smith signing there is very interesting because if Kyle Pitts is not ready, he could have a couple spike weeks. Do I recommend drafting him in best ball format? Absolutely not. That guy has burnt me way too many times. As I said, I'm a Pats fan, and I'm like, Jonnu Smith, yes, we got a killer like Aaron Hernandez. All right, let's talk draft. So after we take Desmond Ridder, Leonard Fournette goes off the board in the 18th. Leonard Fournette is going to sign somewhere, and he's going to vulture some touchdowns and have some spike weeks. He's gone in the 18th round. See why we start drafting early? Because nobody really pays attention to what's going to happen eventually. Like, we know it's going to happen. Bad joke. Man, I love dad jokes. It's just what I do. So after Leonard Fournette, we got Darius Slayton. He's in that cursed receiving core, but also could have a couple spike weeks. Jake Ferguson, we know who he is. We don't really like him. We prefer a Luke Schoonmaker, the rookie out of Michigan, later on. Paris Campbell gone. Mike Marvin Jones. Marvin Jones gone. Joshua Kelly gone. Could be an interesting pick there. We know that Eckler's back. He signed franchise tag, and he also has some extra incentives to play with. Malik Davis gone. Okay, so this guy is just investing in potential handcuffs for the Dallas Cowboys, which isn't a bad idea. And Deuce Vaughn, a guy who I'm very high on. Tank Dell gone. Chandler. This is a guy I'm really high on. Because once Dalvin Cook leaves Minnesota, Alexander Madison's going to be the guy. But who's the handcuff? Who's the second running back there? I believe it's going to be Tank Johnson. So that's another really great pick, great value at the very end there. All right, let's look at what we got here. Why not? We'll take Allen Robinson. He's now in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh offense looks great, looks revamped. He's probably going to be a wide receiver 3 there, but he's also coming off of a significant leg surgery. At this point, it's like you got to go with your guys. You got to go with your guts. This is a guy who I want everybody to research once we're done this live stream. Demario Douglas, ladies and gentlemen. He's a no-name wearing number 60 for the Patriots. Wide receiver drafted in the 7th round. And I'm telling you, when you put on the tape for Demario Douglas, you're going to see baby Tyreek Hill, and it's not even close. You know what? Stick around. I'll put on the tape for Demario Douglas and just show you guys how like explosive this guy is. You know, by the way, Tyreek Hill was like a 6th or 7th round pick too. So the fact that this kid's 6th or 7th round pick shows that like the comparison, the player comp is very close. I've never seen any receiver in college football get this much separation on any sort of route. So let's go through our lineup and talk about it. Trevor Lawrence as our QB1, Tua Tagovailoa, Desmond Ridder. Love it. High upside. Everybody's got really good potential. Any receiver wearing number 60 at wide receiver got to be a stud. I mean, Julian Edelman did it once, so it's just what the Patriots do. He's going to make the cut. He's going to impress in camp. I'm telling you, keep your eyes peeled for this kid. I'll put on the highlight tape like as soon as we finish going over this lineup. He is so freaking impressive. Like you guys are going to be stunned. You guys are going to start drafting him with your last overall pick in these drafts, just the way I am, and we're all going to be competing for the money. And the fact that I'm giving you guys these secrets for free is crazy. So running back room, we didn't go RB heavy. This is like the first time ever we didn't go RB heavy in any of these drafts, and we've done 23 now. So we got DeAndre Swift, who is in a contract year. Dalvin Cook, who everybody's fading because Minnesota took him off of their Twitter banner. I'm okay with him catching fade because I get to get him in the at 83rd overall. Are you telling me there's 83 players who are going to have a better fantasy football season than Dalvin Cook? Stupid. Kendre Miller, rookie I'm very high on, out of drafted by New Orleans. Then we got that Jamal Williams, Kendre Miller correlation because we think Alvin Kamara is going to get suspended. So he is somebody who we're avoiding and fading very heavily. Then we got Devin Singletary, who is the handcuff to Dameon Pierce, and he's in a contract year as well. So God forbid anything happens to Pierce, or Pierce just needs to get a water break. We know Singletary is going to step in and could potentially have a couple spike weeks. And then we got Chuba Hubbard because Miles Sanders hates football and he signed the bag, so he's no longer has to play anymore. Our wide receiver core, elite. Everybody says, okay, well, if DeAndre Hopkins goes to Buffalo, well, Stephon Diggs is going to have a really tough year and bad year. But we factored for that later on in the draft, and I'll tell you about it. So we got Stephon Diggs as a wide receiver 1. We got CeeDee Lamb, which is pretty huge. Then we got Deebo Samuel. Then we got DeAndre Hopkins. So if Stephon Diggs has a bad week and DeAndre Hopkins eventually signs to the Buffalo Bills, what's going to happen is I'm not going to lose fantasy points if one of them has an off week and the other one performs. So we have that correlation. Now, we just raised our floor, but also lowered our ceiling. Does that make sense? Then we got Alan Lazard, who is high ceiling all the way. He's big play threat, big play potential. and he's got that camaraderie with Aaron Rodgers, so you know that they have that vibe. Jalen Hyatt, I hate the pick, can't stand the pick, but Knifey likes him, so and I like Knifey, so that's fine. Allen Robinson, another pick that I'm not very high on, but if you remember last year, he was getting picked in the 5th, 4th round. A lot of people were very high on him, so I'd rather catch him in the last 3 rounds than in the top 5. So I'm happy with the Allen Robinson value, simply a value pick. And then Demario Douglas, who we're about to put the tape on, kid's a freaking freak athlete. All right, then we got Evan Ingram as our tight end 1. We got Michael Mayer, a very, very promising rookie tight end in a system that historically has been very, very beneficial to the tight end position. And Jelani Woods, who was handicapped last year by having Matt Ryan as his quarterback. Not bad. A pretty great, fantastic draft. So let's go to youtube.com. We'll put on Mario Douglas highlights. All right. Just read the caption. They're not lying. Quickest wide receiver in college football. And he's on the Patriots, and we got him first year. I don't have YouTube Premium. If you do, God bless you. I don't. So we're just going to have to watch this ad. Bear with me. We're going to have to watch another ad. So bear with me again. All right. All right. We got it to 10 viewers today. I'm blessed. I'm not being sarcastic. This is super awesome. I love having you guys here. Love doing these drafts. Thank you, as always, for all of your support. If you haven't signed up for Drafters Fantasy Sports, do it now. Code Disco Drafts 1, up to $100 match with your initial deposit. Like, subscribe. It really helps us go a long way, and it helps our channel grow. I love you guys. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for tuning in. I can't wait till we're all crushing all of our friends' spirits and souls. You know, when August and September roll around and we're just crushing every possible draft because we're better prepared for being here together in our community. It takes a village to raise our child, and I love my fucking village. Thank you guys. God bless. Peace.